going to be ripping off the Holley 850 Ultra XP one more time. We ordered in some more parts. I think I might have said it in the last video that we were going to do a few changes on it. As you guys remember, we took it out Saturday to the local car meet, me and the wife. Had a great time. Cruised it. But on the way home, I stopped out here right before my road and kind of bring it up on the converter, probably about 15 to 1800 RPM, and just nailed it, you know, wide open throttled it. And beyond itself, it still had a little minute hesitation. And with my OCD the way it is, I just can't leave it alone. So I ordered some parts in, which I'll show you here in a minute, what we ordered in. And but first of all, first thing I want to do is I want to pull the one plug from each side of the engine here and check out the tune, since you know, off camera before we went to the car meet, I ended up jetting it up like I said I was going to, because it looked like it could use you know, a couple more sizes in it from when we were at US 131. So I did that. I was going to change the squirters out, but I didn't have the correct, I didn't have 35s, so I had to order them in. But I want to check to see what the plugs look like, where my timing mark's at. I could go, you know, put a timing light on it and set it to where I think, but I'm old-fashioned. I always like looking at my plugs. The plugs never lie. It'll tell you exactly where your timing mark's at, how much more you can go. It'll tell you if there's been any detonation or you know, overheating of the plug. So the last time that I did a video on this carburetor, I had a gentleman comment saying I'm going the wrong way on my power valves, which kind of ensued into a little online argument, which I don't like to do with people. You know, I don't know the guy. You know, he could be an old-time drag racer that, you know, knows more than me. I don't claim to know everything. I know that I've been working with Holleys for a long time, and I've always seemed to do very well at it, you know, getting the tunability right on them. It's just something about this one, you know, which kind of pisses me off, excuse my language, you know, with $1,100 carburetor, the amount of frustration that's going into getting this correct. But a lot of it is the heads that we're running on here, the intake, the spacer. You know, these heads are, you know, when I got them from AFR, you know, I bought them with in mind of me building a 421. You know, that's okay, I can always go. You know, this is only a 377. These heads are most efficient on a 400 cubic inch or larger engine. And then when I ordered them, I knew I was going to build a 421 one day. That was my dream small block that I want to build. I still want to build one, and I will build one. But you know, these have the 210 intake valve with the 220 intake runner, and we're running a Victor Jr. intake with a 2-inch super sucker intake spacer or carb spacer. And you know, it just takes, with that setup, it takes a lot of fuel from your idle to wide open throttle transition to get it past that lean spot. And like I said, you know, we're close. We're 95% there, but just my OCD in me is not going to let me stop tearing this thing off and throwing parts at it until we get it 100%. But the guy on the internet said I was going the wrong way. I needed to go up in power valves. And I tried explaining to him, well, this engine only has 5 inches of vacuum, 5.5 inches of vacuum at idle. And he said, well, that doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't go off your idle circuit, which I know. Your power valve, it enriches your main circuit. But if you don't have enough vacuum, you know, if I was to put a 6.5 or a 7.5 power valve in here, and we only got 5 inches of engine vacuum at idle, there ain't no vacuum, enough vacuum there under the carb to close the power valve. So it's going to be letting fuel all the time. So that was my kind of argument with the gentleman. And if so, you know, he said that the Holley's rule of thumb, you go, you know, half of what your engine vacuum is. He said that's horseshit. He said that's not how it works. But I just quit commenting on it. I wasn't going to argue with him about it. And we're getting it. I think the power valve situation's fine. I think we just need to go up on squirter size and cam my pump cams, and we'll try it from there. So first thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to get the spark plug wires off, one each side, and loosen up the plugs, and I'll bring you guys right back. We'll check the plugs, check our timing, check our tune, and then we're going to hook a vacuum gauge up to this thing, fire it up, see where we're at vacuum, and then we're going to rip it down. And I could probably do the work on the car, but I always like taking it off, especially, you know, working with these, you know, the squirters and dropping them little washers down. It has happened. So, but that's what we're going to do, so hang with us. Alright, we got our plugs out. As you guys can see there, let me get my little tool here. Very distinctive timing mark just at the bend, just past the bend there. This is the driver's side, number 1. This will be number 2. So we're very conservative on timing. The cadmium is showing all the way around. Looks a little, well, looks grayish black. Porcelains, heat range is cocoa brown. That looks good on both. So yeah, we're good on we can come up on timing another couple degrees. Another couple degrees makes a huge difference too, so that's probably what we're going to do too after we hook the vacuum. I'm going to reinstall these plugs and then hook a vacuum gauge up. We're going to fire the car up, get it warmed up, show you guys where we're at on vacuum, and then I kind of got my distributor marked. As you guys can see down in there, the little yellow paint mark down in there. So if all else fails, I can always go back to that. But yeah, that's what I think we can come up a couple degrees. But I'm gonna hook the vacuum gauge up, like I said, and get this fired up. Yeah, it's kind of shitty weather out today, rainy, which we needed the rain for sure. But there'll be no test drives today, which is kind of sucks. But anyways, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get that vacuum gauge hooked up, the plugs reinstalled, fire this up, let you guys see the vacuum, and then we'll tear that off, get it on the bench, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, as you can see, we got this whole carburetor tore right down to nothing. Got the bullets, we got all the air bleeds, power valves back out of it. I went through and re-blew everything out just in case. Like I said, my OCD, make sure nothing got in it. I got a set of blue pump cams to replace these pink ones. So that should give it more fuel sooner. And we also got the tube type pump discharge nozzle. I call them squirters, or pump discharge nozzles. 121-35. They're 35s. But with it having that tube on there, it'll get them down into the venturis here more. Instead of it just spraying over, it'll shoot it down in there. They say that's better. You can actually see that screw in there. After you get your transfer slots set on your carburetor, this has got that, I forget what it's called, but there's a idle set screw in the middle here you can turn, And it's a controlled vacuum leak. It's got 4 little windows here. And you can crack that open and bring your RPM up. That way you're not messing with your transfer slots. Like I said, I like the carburetor because of that feature. And you can also see on here where your power valve goes. It's got some pretty big holes already in there. So I thought about maybe even trying to drill them out to get more, but man, they're pretty big already. So I don't think that's the issue. Like I said, we got brand new power valves that we got in there. So I figured I would just tear it apart and go through everything one last time. Change the pump cams out. Change the squirters out. We did fire it up, and as you guys can see, I got my timer vacuum gauge set here. I bring it on the inside of the car, and we hooked it up and fired it up, and it's bouncing between 5 and 6, and in gear it drops 5 to 5, just below 5. So I think 3.5 on the power valve to 4.5. I might step it up to a 4.5 while I got it apart, just because I changed it down to a 3.5 and really still got the same issue. So I might step it back up to a 4.5. Like I said, the OCD in me I will get this thing 100%. And how I came across the blue pump cams, I was watching some of the old videos on the old man's garage, Bill Hopkinson, when he first started tuning that Malibu. He was having the same issues with his combination, with his Super Victor intake, his AFR heads. He had a pretty decent hydraulic roller in it. His is only a 355 though, I believe. So we got a little bit more cubic inch, but we're still, we're only 10/8 to 1 compression with these big ass heads on a 377, which, so I kind of went by his lead. And like I said, I watched earlier in a clip, I told you guys I was watching YouTube videos, and he switched to a blue cam in the front and then a green one in the back and 35 squirters after he did his power valve change and that, and he got most of it out of his, but he said he was going to go to a blue cam in the back also. So I was like, well, what the hell, it ain't going to hurt to, it's the only thing I haven't touched is the pump cam. So if it worked for his combination, maybe it'll work for ours. It's all trial and error on these carburetors. So let me get back at it. Once we get her together, I'll bring you guys back and we'll fire this thing up and see how she responds, and we'll take another measurement on the vacuum gauge. Hang with us. Now we got her stacked together. We're coming up to temperature now. Sounds a lot more crisp. I added a couple more degrees of timing. Into it. We couldn't use them blue cams. I went about 1100, 1200, which is perfect. Let me put it in gear. See how she fires back up without no pump shot. Alright, I don't want to piss my neighbors off too much. Alright guys, let me shut this radio down real quick. We couldn't use the blue cams I thought quick fuel would be the same as Holley, but it's totally different on the arms. It was hanging the throttles open, and then like at full throttle, you let go of the throttle even with the spring on, and it would stay there, and you'd touch them, and it'd get real hard, and then snap hard back. So we ended up just putting the 31 squirters in for now. You can see our timing down there. We bumped it up a couple degrees. Not much. We don't want to get greedy. But a telltale sign, if your carb is burning right, is before we got it tuned in a while back, I'd fire it up and let it idle like that, and there would be a lot of unburned fuel, like smoke and steam coming out of here. Smoke, I guess it's unburned fuel, but now, I mean, it's burning good. So I don't want to piss my neighbors off. I know they got a new baby across the street, so. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It fires right back up with breathing on that key, wham, and seems more responsive. So maybe I was just too conservative on the timing. Everybody kept telling me, put more timing in it, you know. I'm conservative. But this is the color of our fuel. I don't like this fuel. My fuel station I usually went and got fuel at, towards Beaverton on M18, they sold VP at the pump. Well, they switched it to Dragon Racing fuel, which is $9.99 a gallon. So I said, hell with that. So I went to Saginaw, which off of M84 and I-75, they sell racing fuel at the pump too. But it's BP Racing. And it's blue. And I dumped a little bit on my floor here and to light it, just to see how it would burn. And I mean, it took a minute to burn off. Usually my VP racing fuel, my purple stuff, would instantly be gone. But a buddy of mine was telling me about this stuff here, and he said it doesn't burn as good, but it's 110 octane. So like I said before, we went out to the cruise on Saturday. I had to run out. We made a dead trip all the way out to Beaverton, which probably 45-minute ride for nothing, to find out they changed the Dragon fuel. So we ended up going to Saginaw, which was another hour the opposite direction, and we got that stuff. And I always been a VP racing fuel man myself, so I got a business card of a gentleman that sells it here locally, actually just the next road over from me. He sells it by the 55-gallon drums. It's $600 for 55 gallons. So I might be investing in some of that soon. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to do another video with you today and let you know about this. We're still working at this carburetor. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to tell if it made a bit of difference until I can get it out. I mean, it stopped raining, but the roads are wet. I mean, we still got puddles. It finally stopped raining. Looks like it still might rain a little bit, but everything's still wet. I'm sure there wouldn't be no dead spot with the wet roads on DOT drag tires, so I mean, that's blah. But anyways, guys, I really appreciate everybody for watching as usual. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next, taking her out for a spin to see what happens. Catch you on the next video. All right, bye-bye.